Hey everyone, welcome to the Networking with Michelle show where we discuss life strategies with a bit of entrepreneurial advice. I'm your host, Michelle Gomez. As always, I'm grateful for you tuning in. Today I am picking up on part two of the podcast breakdown. It has been pretty interesting because people have been reaching out to me. Some people before they listen to it, some after, and they'll be like, I thought you were going to explain how to create a podcast. And I'm like, no. This is not what this is. This is talking about some of the struggles I've been encountering over the past couple of months. I guess the latter half of this year, the month of July, when things kind of got crazy. So, in the last episode, I discussed just pretty much the month of July, going after two different jobs, eventually landing a job in August, and a lot of miscommunication between me and some of the guests and all that type of stuff. So I want to bring you up to speed. I'll just say August 13th, I started working at Sullivan Stout Injury and Accident Law Firm as their marketing manager. And the first 4 to 6 weeks was really, really tough. But as of now, I really enjoy where I work at, what I do. I enjoy the environment as well as the task, right? And I think that's something you have to consider anytime you're working with someone, whether it's an employer or with your clients. Do you enjoy that person, the environment that you're surrounded in, as well as what you are doing on a day to day basis? And I'm very fortunate to find that because it's hard. It's hard. And I think lots of times when you're coming from big corporations, I have, and then lots of times when you're looking for work, those big companies stand out because those are the ones that are marketing, advertising everywhere, online, offline. You see the buildings everywhere. So it's really easy to look for those big corporations. Where I'm working at a small, nice size law firm, very close to my house, so that helps, even though traffic is still ridiculous. Probably 4 or 5 miles away from my job, which should be an 8 to 10 minute drive without traffic. With traffic, it's 20 to 30 minutes. Craziness in the Galleria area. But I have driven a lot further and been in traffic for a lot longer. So I am grateful. And I think, your commute, driving, sitting in traffic, all of that plays a part when it comes to your day, your energy, right? Because you can leave your house in good spirits, but you sit in traffic for X amount of time. You're already pissed off when you get to work. And then maybe you have a long day at work, and then you're sitting in traffic again, trying to get home, cook for family, go out to events, whatever the case may be. So it really does play a part on how you carry yourself, just your energy levels and how you handle yourself and you deal with people. And I'm at a place right now at my employer or with my employer that, I work 8 to 5, and there's times when I'm there until 6. Like the time goes by so fast, and it's like I'm just chilling, I'm working, I'm not stressed, I don't have any plans for the evening. So I'm just chilling doing my work and no one bothers me, and I'm just so grateful for that. I don't have to worry about um, just the little things, just those little annoying things that were minute and petty in the past, where people are eyeing you, people, I don't want to say clocking in and clocking out, but a lot of companies, they have the online system, right? So the online system or the phone system is tracking when you come in and you come out for starting your day, lunch, back from lunch, and ending your day. And then another thing is just communicating, right? Just being able to go up to my boss and be like, hey, this is what's going on. What do you think? Can I do this or whatever? And just being very honest and not have to worry about telling half lies to get free time or whatever the case. So, no stress. No stress at work, or the stress has minimized, and I'm very, very grateful. And One thing I was considering in August, I was approached with these two job offers. And it was one of those things where I knew I was going to be okay either way. Like, whichever job I decided, I was going to be okay. But the law firm had more upside to it. And it really had me reevaluating. It's like, okay, Michelle, what does the next few years of your life look like? And I was calling it a 3-year plan, but I decided to extend it. So now it's my 5-year plan. And I believe this law firm just fit better into my 5-year plan, which is really interesting. One of the reasons why I took the job is because the title is a marketing manager. Now, keep in mind, this is the first marketing job I've had. All of my marketing experience has been guerrilla marketing, me having a company, getting clients, doing the work. The other job offer I had, I was going to be an accounts payable specialist for um, I don't even know what industry to call it, but basically it was a company. They make products out of wax, but it was a private equity company that retained them. I can't even think of the industry right now, and I don't want to say oil and gas, but so I was going to be accounts payable specialist. The money's pretty much the same, so the money's decent. It was in Pasadena, so that's about a 40-minute commute from my house. I would have been working from 7 to 4, or 7:30 to 4:30 or something. And the thing is, there's no traffic in the morning, so it was an easy drive. But when I was looking at what does my 5-year plan, what does it consist of, the law firm just had a lot more upside. Part of it was the title, marketing manager. And I felt that I needed to take this job because of the title and try my best to stay with the company for at least 3 years. But if I needed to move in 1 year, I could eventually well, depending on my job performance, I can negotiate a raise, a better salary. But more importantly, if I needed to leave the company and look for other employment, I can at least start working or targeting positions, other marketing manager positions for more income, a higher salary, or I can target director of marketing positions. And then, of course, by the end of the 5th year, around that time, director of marketing or chief marketing officer, depending on what the company calls it. And then there's or I can go back to just my business, full-time entrepreneurship. So that was really important to me, and I think that's something I really didn't consider when I was in my 20s or when I was in corporate. I didn't focus on the titles, but I knew I needed to. There's just jobs I wanted to do. Like, I really didn't know what the title was per se, but I was like, oh, this seems cool. Let me read about it based on the job description. I was like, cool, I'm interested in it, but those opportunities never came. And so I had to, as I'm getting older, I had to be more strategic. And I feel like job titles are a catch-22 in the sense that someone can give you a great title and you don't get paid nada, but at the same time, people respect titles. People respect titles, and it's a perception. So it's like I have to accept this job, assume this responsibility based off of this title to help the future perception of me and my work in the future. I don't know. Hopefully that makes sense. But saying that, when it goes into my 5-year plan. So that's part one, marketing manager at Selliff and Stout Law Firm. Part two is something that's been on my mind for the past 5 years, but I've been very hesitant. I feel like I haven't been in position, and now is the perfect time to launch this. And if you follow me on social media, I've started the African American Marketing Association. The African American Marketing Association. And 5 years ago, I was on the phone with this lady, and I just quit my job at Invesco. I just graduated. I was just figuring it all out, as I always am. And I was on the phone with this lady, and we were just talking about organizations. And she was like, hey, there's not a Black Marketing Association in Houston. And it was definitely an aha moment. But at that time in my life, there was no way that I felt confident enough to even start such an overwhelming task. But fast forward, I'm grateful for everything because in the past 5 years, I have had a chance to assume leadership roles with the Black MBA, the Urban League, go through the Houston Black Leadership Institute, and these organizations have, as well as LaFun, have created skill sets and relationships that have prepared me for this very moment of launching the African American Marketing Association. And up to this point, if I did Google searches online, there was nothing national wise. So let me say, if you Google African American Marketing Association or Black Marketing Association, there was nothing that came up as a nationwide organization. Maybe a few and very rare colleges that may have a Black centric marketing association. There's a LinkedIn group that says African American Marketing Association or something similar, but that group is pretty much dead. And a couple other things that happened this summer out of my wheelhouse. And I was just like, now's the time. Now's the time. And it's now, I don't know, now it's just a different confidence. It's a different swag. But things are coming together, and I'm so grateful. And as I record this, we've already had our second board meeting, and just trying to move in the right direction. Trying to take time to get to know my board, know them. I know most of them, like I know them, but knowing them in a different capacity of what it's like to work together, work for free, create a movement, create history, trying to iron out a few things because as I tell them, this is something that's been on my mind for so long. So it's me. I'm making the effort to go from me to we. So what does that mean? I have all of these ideas and notes that have been jotted down, but now I got to run them through people, right? I got to run it through my team. And like, does this make sense? How can it make better? Do we need to scratch it off the list? Like, that is okay. You're not going to hurt my feelings because I know this organization is for the greater good of Houston and beyond, right? For our community. And I just pray to God that this thing is well received here in Houston and then is able to grow to other major cities. Because there's a need. There is a need. And a few things that have made me, I'll say this one thing that made me really upset this summer. I think it was in July, Adweek had released their top 100 influencers in the marketing and branding space. And out of those influencers, there was no Black person listed. And there was only 10 women listed. And I just felt like that was ridiculous. And then also another problem with the list was everyone wasn't a marketer. Like some of these people were CEOs or CMOs, chief marketing officers of Fortune 100 companies. And to me, I don't know. I don't know. I think, I'm not a soda person. I don't drink Coke. But like, if you get the marketing position at Coke, like you're pretty good, right? Just because they have such a rich history and culture that has expanded from the business into society to a global brand. So even if you do some missteps in that position, like the brand is so solid, it's still gonna stand. And I just know there's great startups and agencies that should have been highlighted on that list. And one of the things that really did upset me was the fact that I believe Boma St. John should have been on that list. And she has worked for Pepsi, and she's worked for Apple, Beats, helped put that deal together. And then she left and she went to Uber, which I wasn't happy about. I actually feel like she was blacklisted, and from Uber she left this year, and she's worked for I think a smaller company, or at least their brand awareness is not there. I can't even think of the name right now, but I did look it up um, before when that transition happened or when it was announced. And I believe it's a startup based in Denver, Colorado, where she went to school. So, that is home for her. And um, I was just disappointed. I feel like she should have been on the list. She should have been on the list. And I'm sure if she was on the list, we would still have a problem with that number of just one person on the list. But in my mind, I was like, well, I can create my own list, right? We need something for us, by us. And I think the association is where it's at. And with that, I want to create things through the association that can help the African American marketing professionals as well as the overall community. Another thing, the third thing regarding the association is multicultural marketing is very, 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 very important and very relevant. And there are a few companies that do it right. And I commend them, and I probably support them. I literally support them through my dollars. That's something that I do look into um, if I can. And there's some companies that don't do it right. And I want this association to be a hub for those companies, big or small, to come and learn. But also, if they need talent, that they can recruit talent, right? And lots of times it's like, are we in the rooms? Are black folks in the room to get these? Let me back up. Do black folks have the network to get the information and the resources to submit an RFP, or to be in the room and to collaborate on such projects when we are involved? And the same thing for brown people, because Hispanics or Latinos are taking over, especially here in Texas. They're taking over, and I have no problem with that. I love all brown people, but specifically talking about the Latino community, they are taking over, rightfully so. Um, and I'm open to collaborating with them in any capacity. I just feel like representation does matter, and the representation, it needs to be. My concern is whatever we see on screen, a Facebook ad, TV ad, a billboard, a magazine ad, whatever we see with our eyes, I always wonder, what was the decision made in the boardroom? How was that decision made in the boardroom? And black folk, Hispanic folk, both of us are spending over $1 trillion in whatever, right? In lifestyle. And and I want our efforts to be acknowledged on the educational piece, the business piece when it comes to marketing to us. And I want the African American Marketing Association to be that pipeline, to become that pipeline for of creating talent for agencies and companies to be like, hey, this is what we're working on. Michelle, can we pick your brain? Can we talk to you? Yeah. Do you know someone that would be a good fit to collaborate? Yes. We have a pool of talent. Now, I'm not saying we're not a recruiting firm, we're not sourcing people, but that if you get a member, it's very similar to the Black NBA, right? My stomping ground. If you pick one of our members, that they are well qualified, they're well versed, and we want to provide that education to our members that can become candidates to great organizations and continue to just keep the movement going, the economical gains, and just positivity, just allowing it to flow, because there's so many moving pieces when it comes to creating a community, and I just want to give myself to that mission. So I'm assuming the role of president right now, and I have at least a 5-year commitment to the organization. And what I mean by that is I don't plan on being president for the whole 5 years. I do have a VP, great woman. So I'm not worried about the next year or two. But I'm definitely prepared to be 100% all hands on deck when it comes to the organization and seeing it grow and trying to get it to other cities. I did an interest form, I promoted it on social media, and I know I had at least 5 people from outside of Houston that were interested in the organization. One person was in Philly, I believe. I jumped on the phone and talked to her, and it's just like, why hasn't this been done? So y'all just pray for me. Y'all just pray for me regarding this marketing association. I am so humbled and grateful just to take on this task, but I just need the strength and the wisdom to keep the movement forward. Oh, and if you're in Houston and you're interested, please reach out to me. And once again, most of the board positions are filled, but if we jump on the phone or via email, I'll be glad to go over some details with you. As paperwork is filed, the paperwork is submitted. So I'm waiting for confirmation on a few things, and we are hoping to launch this thing with a meeting in February, and I'm just excited. So if you want to be a part of this and you're in Houston, reach out to me. If you have ideas, if you're somewhere else, maybe you're in Houston and you're like, I don't have the time to commit, but I got this idea, shoot me an email, send me a message on Instagram. I'm taking everything. This is beyond me. And I'm taking everything, all ideas, people, resources, and seeing what we can do with it. So that is part 2, or the second thing of my 5-year plan. And the last thing, I have tumbled and tousled on this as well, and that's about going to grad school, a doctorate program. And it's tough because, one, I don't need a doctorate degree. I have buku student loans. It's ridiculous. But I've always wanted a doctorate degree. I've always wanted a terminal degree. And I have researched programs off and on for the past 3 years. So I got my master's in 2013. And of course, I took a break naturally. But off and on for the past 2 to 3 years, I've been looking at different programs, and programs have evolved where at one point all you knew was a PhD, and now you have EDs online, you have hybrids, you have doctors of business administration, a DBA. So there's a lot of programs that are accommodating full-time working professionals, executive professionals, right? And I have decided to go the ED route, ED in organizational leadership, something of that nature. So I applied to a school. I'm I'm not going to name the school or the details, but I have applied to one university to do their hybrid program, and I really want to go back to school. Like I really want to go back to school, and I don't know. I'm sure I've had this desire like when I needed to finish my bachelor's degree, because it took me 11 years to do that, and I don't know. Like something's just different. Like I really want to go. I want to go back to school, and then I want to go to this specific school, this specific program for, X amount of reasons. And I am nervous and I am anxious and I am hopeful that they'll accept me and that I can start in August. It is online. I will have to go to the school. I'll have to fly out a couple of times. But I don't know, it's just a weird feeling. And I believe the time is right. I believe the law firm is the right job that'll allow me to go to school, right? And I say that to say because one, the job at this point, the job is not stressful. Um, the job is not stressful. As a marketing manager, currently, I'm the first person they've had in this role. They had another lady, but she was more going out talking to people. Then they had an intern. So I'm really the first time they've had someone in this role full time. So we're still sorting through a lot of things, and eventually we want to grow a department. So I'm thinking between creating a marketing team and the association and me learning organizational leadership, taking classes around that. I just feel like there's no better time. I think everything, to me, this is perfect synergy, and I hope I get accepted to this program. And it will be a 3.5 year program online. Um, I know I'm talking in code right now, but just pray for me, keep your fingers crossed, and if I get accepted, I'll spill the beans and give you all the details. But yeah, so that's the 5 year plan. So I'm working on everything, and I guess a personal thing is losing weight. I need to lose at least 80 pounds, and I'm trying to do that. I guess a year, 12 to 18 months should be a reasonable time frame. And this past October, I think I've been doing very well. I've been doing a lot of working out at home, just body weights, um, going to the gym on the weekends or going for longer walks on the weekends, making sure I'm eating right, eating, vegetables, fruits every day, and cutting out a lot of stuff. I haven't been going out to eat as much. Um, Chick-fil-A only on Saturday, Friday or Saturday, not socializing with friends as far as going out to eat, which is very hard because there's always a birthday, there's always a celebration, and it's going to be real interesting. I've already told myself I'm not going to any Christmas parties. So, so things will be very interesting. And I'll say within the past 4 weeks, I've already lost 2 inches. So I've seen the progress. I'm not one to weigh myself because I've been so discouraged in the past. But my energy is high. It's very high, and it's very interesting because sometimes I have so much energy I'm having a hard time sleeping at night, which is very interesting. Um, but yeah, I already see the difference. I see the difference with my morning routine, just being efficient, feeling a little bit slimmer in some of my clothes, but I'm not ready to go shopping yet. Um, and I'm just grateful. I'm grateful because I feel like I'm at capacity to do everything on my plate, right? And it's still difficult. It's still challenging. Don't get me wrong, but I have the energy, the stamina to do so, and for that, I'm very, very grateful. So that's my 5 year plan, y'all. 5 years. Um, work it out with the law firm for a nice amount of time. The marketing association, the doctorate program, announcements coming soon to be determined, and then just my personal health, my weight loss journey, and just sharing all of that through social media and trying to find ways to make my life easier because I refuse to be stressed. I refuse to be stressed. I'm just not. I'm just not. Mm-mm, mm-mm. I refuse to be stressed. So that is part 2 of the podcast breakdown. Um, Trying to figure out my life, trying to figure out what is the best life. And so stay tuned for part 3. I'm going to drop part 3 at the same time. And then I'm going to go into some of the details and updates of what I'm going to do with the podcast come in 2019. So if you haven't already, please follow me on Instagram, Michelle Gome, first and last name, Michelle Ngome. Follow me on Instagram for the cool stuff, Facebook for the real stuff, and LinkedIn for the professional stuff. Go to the show notes. Go to the show notes. You can send me an email, info@michellegomez.com, regarding anything and everything. I'll be glad to answer your questions. If you want to get involved in the marketing association, let me know if you have ideas. If you've gone through a doctorate program and you got some advice, hey, hit a sister up. Let me know what to expect. All of that. But yeah, stay tuned for part 3. And remember, personal connection leads to an influential network. Thanks for networking with Michelle.